bow down before thee in humble obedience and dependence. We pray thee, grant us the grace to respect each other this day in all our consultations, that our deliberations today shall take place in the spirit of mutual trust, so that we as leaders shall lead our country on the path of peace and shall find solutions for issues and problems facing us. Grant us the mercy, O Lord, that we shall today also honor thy name in all we think, do, and say. Almighty God, we pray thee, bless our land and all its people. This all we pray in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Affirmation. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people, and I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. Thank you. Okay, are there any messages from the head of state? Any petitions? Reports of standing select committee? None. Other reports and papers? Notices of questions? Notices of motions? Ministerial statements? Reports from the Committee of the Whole Assembly and consequential proceedings? None. Then the Secretary will read the order of the day.
Resumption of debate on second reading, appropriation bill.
When this assembly adjourned yesterday, the 8th of April, the question before the Assembly was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Finance that the bill be read a second time. So we continue today with the debate on the budget, and I would like to invite contributions to the budget. Any further discussions? Honorable Leando.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise to air my maiden speech in terms of Rule 91. You'll know me. My name is John Leando. Born and brewed at the coastal river of Namibia, Zambezi, right away from Kakangala village, and the grandson of a fisherman. I rise here, Madam Speaker and honorable members, that standing here today is my 10th year in the parliamentary corridor, as I just migrated from the House of Review on the 24th of March, and then took oath. Madam Speaker and honorable members, having served on the National Council for the last 9 years, I have witnessed first-hand challenges and aspirations of our people, and this presents me opportunity to be in the National Assembly to elevate the voices and advocate for rural and urban development, as well as economic empowerment for all Namibians, meaning youth, women, and the boy child of every mother, as well as inclusive Namibia, where distribution of resources is to be done on a fairness, equity, and sincere transparency. Honorable Speaker and members of this august House, As I step in this new responsibility, I feel a sense of duty that our country is at a critical stage of development where we must work together as members of parliament to address social economic issues and challenges, as well as improved service delivery, and also to foster the sustainable growth of our country's economy. I therefore pledge that I will serve with dedication, honest, and people-centered approach, ensuring that the concerns of all Namibians, from the marginalized to the rural community, are heard and addressed. Madam Speaker, I look forward in collaborating with my fellow parliamentarians in initiating laws and shaping policies that will strengthen our economy, improve the education system, our healthcare system, and career opportunities, as well as employment creation. Together, we shall uphold the principle of democracy, good governance, and national unity. Madam Speaker, I will fail in my duty if I will not pay homage to the late founding father who passed on the 8th of February. May his soul rest in peace. Since his departure, Namibia is blessed with high rainfall across the country, which is a sign that the great sun has a priority in agriculture, and let it be abundant for food production and self-reliance. In the same vein, I would also like to congratulate our fifth president, His Excellency Netumbo Ndaitwa, who took us on the 21st of March with high confidence. In that vein, I also congratulate her for setting up the executive and also the reshuffling of the executive directors. May she continue to stay this country in good faith. Honorable members, I will equally also say thank you to our fourth president, Honorable Nangolo Mbumba, who had difficulties since he took office, where he saw the demise of the third president and our founding father. May I wish him a safe retirement and good health. Honorable members, as I stand here, I'm deeply touched with the loss of 3 learners in the Zambezi region in Kabe's house who were drowned. 3 of them, 2 boys and 1 girl. They are all to be buried this weekend. This is due to a massive flood. Therefore, may their soul rest in peace. Having done so, Honorable Speaker, I would like to congratulate our new Minister of Finance for his commitment and also elevation from being an ED to the Minister of Finance. The budget prioritizes economic recovery and growth, which demonstrates that the SWAPO government is committed to realizing key industries such as agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing. Secondly, the budget also focuses on the increased investment in infrastructure. There is a significant allocation for infrastructural development which enhances transportation, energy, digital connectivity, and fostering economic activity as well as job creation. It also further touches the support of SMEs and entrepreneurship. The budget includes provision of small and medium enterprise, recognizing their role in economic development and job creation. Number 4, the budget also focuses on strengthening the social welfare programs, with increased funding for social welfare programs, including health, education, and housing. Furthermore, the budget indicates and defines the fiscal discipline and debt management because of the government's approach to maintaining fiscal discipline while we are managing our debt responsibility with prudent financial management which is crucial in a long-term sustainability. The budget also prioritizes youth unemployment and skill development. The budget places emphasis on youth employment and education, provide vocational training and entrepreneurship programs. The healthcare sector is one of the key priorities and it takes chunks of the government allocation, including the strengthening of public hospital clinics, which enhance healthcare access and quality services. Last but not least, the investment in renewable energy, which is a commitment to a positive sign that Namibia did not just need to rely on import of energy supply, but also to attract investment in the green economy. The encouragement of foreign direct investment with policies and incentives where the budget aims to attract more investors, strengthening economic and expanding business opportunity. The foreign direct investment policies, which His Excellency the President has aligned the Minister of International Relations to that of Trade, strengthening the economy and expanding the business opportunity. Food security and agriculture have seen that this year, 2026 budget has increased to more than 500 million with the aim of providing funding for agriculture, irrigation projects, ensure that there is better security and rural development, as well as economic stability. Madam Speaker, I will really end with my priority to this August House, that is a realization of the Constituency Development Fund, because this is the only vehicle that can drive development as part of decentralization programs that are enshrined in our SWAPO policies and programs. Allow me, Madam Speaker, to say that this Constituency Development Fund, once it's brought back to this House, will be our focus to ensure that it addresses and fast-track development in all 121 constituents. Having said so, Madam Speaker, honourable members, I fully support Bill 6 of 2025, the appropriation bill. I so submit.
Very much Honorable Alicando. Now the next person on the screen here asking for the floor is Honorable Sharonis Bush. Oh, okay, are you sitting in Honorable Bush's chair or why is it registering?
I think there's a technical challenge, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
Mix up
For all of us at the back.
Okay, so Secretariat, please look at that. Okay, you may please proceed. It's a maiden speech.
Thank you for the floor, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this August House, fellow Namibians watching across the country, on this 9th day of April 2025, I rise once again to appreciate Namibia's commitment to upholding the core values of democracy. I wish to reference the principle of participation, which accords me the confidence to stand before this honorable House. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Fenny Tutjavi. I was born in the Great Kunene region, raised in the mighty Arongo region, and further transcended into my youth in the mighty Khomas region. I rise today as a proud daughter of the Namibian soil, called upon to serve under the banner of the mighty SWAPO party and appointed through the visionary, progressive, and forward-striving leadership of Her Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, and democratically elected into parliament by the Namibian nation. Madam President, I cannot but cease to move my deepest gratitude for the trust and confidence you have placed in the youth of this country. Your bold leadership by action and not just by rhetoric reminds every young girl and boy in every dusty street and crowded classroom that their voices matter and their dreams are valid.
Yeah.
Having said this, Honorable Speaker, I wish to put it on record that having, as a young person myself, I have been around, I have seen, and I have heard. I, as a young Namibian, therefore it is with immense pleasure and appreciation to this great call of duty that I wish to say to my constituents that we are still together. This call is ours, as the great saying goes, each generation out of relative opacity must discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. Therefore, from the onset, allow me to extend an invitation to my generation to walk this call of duty with me. And by extension, I urge all Namibians to walk this call of national duty with me. Honorable Speaker, Namibia today stands at a critical juncture, a moment where we must ask, what kind of nation are we building for the generations to come? As a member of this esteemed House, I come with no illusions about the magnitude of the task ahead. However, I also come with the unshakable belief that if we lead with values, vision, and vigilance, our country can become a beacon of hope on the African continent. With the recent swearing in of our first ever female president, the limelight is upon us, and the bar has been set high. Honorable members, we ought to rise to the occasion. The Swapo Party government has outlined an ambitious yet necessary set of developmental priorities to be pursued between the period of 2025 and 2030 national development period. These are not just mere promises of the past, they are a blueprint of the future, a future that must be built on the 7 pillars priorities. These 7 pillars provide a clear direction and a foundation for transformative change and progression, aimed at strengthening social progression and economic stability for a prosperous Namibia. Honorable Speaker, in light of the 2025 national budget, I believe I will not do justice towards the line Minister of Finance and Grants if I fail to recognize the timely tabling of the appropriation bill for consideration. A move well done indeed, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, in 2024, Namibia was ranked first worldwide in education spending according to the 2024 Global Innovation Index. This year, Honorable Speaker, Namibia's education has been ranked as the 3rd best in Africa and first globally in education expenditure as a percentage of GDP according to the Mo Ibrahim Foundation. Namibia continues to maintain its position as a global leader in education investment. It is commendable that the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth and Sports, Arts and Culture continues to receive the largest allocation, over 24 billion. This speaks to the government's recognition of education as the cornerstone of national development. It speaks to amplifying the notion that we should never as a country compromise on the imperative role that education plays in nation building. While this allocation is fundamentally well intended, the challenge now lies in the size, not in the size of the allocation, but in its strategic utilization, Honorable Speaker. Every cent must be traced to a meaningful outcome, be it classrooms that actually have chairs, schools, teachers that are well trained and motivated, or students who are not just in school but are truly learning. I further note the reintegration of Namibia's Students' Financial Assistance Fund back into the Ministry of Education. This shift must translate into a streamlined, transparent, and student-centered funding mechanism aimed at strengthening and enhancing effectiveness for the greater benefit of our student population. Bureaucracy must not steal our students' time or futures. The administration of financial aid must be efficient, equitable, and focused on removing the financial barriers that continue to haunt thousands of bright, disadvantaged students. Our education must be a great equalizer, as our founding father, Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma, believed. May his soul rest in peace. We must confront the uncomfortable truth that thousands of young people find themselves in educational limbo. Let us not confuse pass rates with progress. Let us not settle for structural systems that reward the privileged and punish potential. TVETs must be brought to the same footing as traditional academic paths. The moment we call one formal and the other informal, we already begin to devalue the later. Sports, Honorable Speaker. The proposed renovation and utilization of our national stadiums do not only serve sports, but the Namibian economy. Home games mean hotel bookings, taxi rides, visa applications, agricultural exports, and more. Let us do the math. Let us see the multiplier effect. Renovated stadiums are more than concrete. They are a catalyst for economic revival. Furthermore, the creative industry, it is high time we stop treating the creative industry as a hobby sector. Arts, music, and media are not side hustles. They are industries. They employ thousands, attract international capital, and shape national identity. If properly harnessed, they can stand beside mining, tourism, and agriculture as pillars of GDP growth. Centers such as the College of the Arts, Arts Performance Center, the Project Room, Namibia Craft Center, the National Art Gallery Theatre of Namibia, just to mention a few, are beacons of talent and innovation. Government must invest in expanding and replicating this across all regions and make sure that the creative economy is more accessible and economically viable for more young people. Honorable Speaker, I further welcome the directive issued by the Ministry of Finance and to all offices, ministries, and government agencies to allocate a budget line for apprenticeships, internships, and government and graduate intensives in the 2025-2027 cycle. But policy alone is not progress. It must be implemented with urgency and resolve. When linked with the youth empowerment pillar, these initiatives have the potential to transform the country's human resource base and reduce youth unemployment in a real sustainable manner. Youth empowerment will no longer be lip service, it will be a national commitment. Honorable Speaker, safety and security must be a central concern for all of us. It pains me deeply to reflect on the recent tragedies that have shocked our nation. A 17-year-old boy, Paulus Kahili, who was brutally murdered in Rundu by two teenagers. The day before yesterday, the day before the other day, we witnessed the horror of an 18-year-old man in Usakos killing 6 of his own relatives, including 4 minors. And rape incidents continue to rise across our regions, 2 having been recent that they have happened over the weekend. These are not isolated crimes. They are indicators of deep-rooted societal distress. We must urgently invest in community policing, youth rehabilitation, mental health care, and a stronger justice system. Safety is not optional, it is a right. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, neocolonialism remains a shadow over Africa's development. While we remain grateful for foreign aid and strategic partnerships, Namibia's sovereignty is not for sale. And as honorable members, we have been called upon to defend and protect the Namibian sovereignty. We are a friend to all and an enemy to none, but we trust that we must read between the fine print. Aid must not be agenda-driven, and our policy space must remain Namibian-owned and Namibian-centered. Let us not become vessels of other people's interests under the pretense of cooperation. As Thomas Sankara reminds us, he who feeds you controls you. We must feed ourselves, we must govern ourselves, and we must dream for ourselves. This is a generational call. We, the youth, are not asking for charity. We will not appreciate tokenism. We are demanding for inclusion and deliberate inclusion, Honorable Speaker. We are not waiting for tomorrow. We are participating today. Once again, it is one thing, honorable members, to involve young people in decision-making and transformation. However, it is progressive and youth-centered to have young people driving the transformation and impact of their needs and desires. By way of conclusion, let me say this. I stand here not to be the youngest member of parliament for symbolic purposes, but to make substance out of symbolism. This seat is not mine alone. It belongs to every young Namibian who has ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or unheard. I am here. We are here. The youth are here, and we are ready to build the Namibia we deserve. We have unapologetically arrived, Honorable Speaker. Aluta continua, the struggle continues, but this time it is a struggle of excellence aimed at enhancing economic development, social progression, and youth for sustainable development. It will indeed not be business as usual. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next. Yes, this screen here is not helping me. Yes. Honorable Jonas.
I am Justina Jonas. I stand before this August House as a proud representative of SWAPO Party, rooted in the legacy of the workers' movement and the trade unionism through the National Union of Namibian Workers, NUNW. The NUNW has historically been a key pillar in the revolutionary struggle led by SWAPO, a movement grounded in the pursuit of social justice, workers' rights, and national liberation. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to NUNW, the SWAPO Party, and the Namibian people for entrusting me with the honor to represent them in this August House. Under the humble leadership of the late His Excellency Dr. Safishuna Nujoma, our founding father, the leader of our revolution, and the first president of the Republic of Namibia, SWAPO evolved from a workers' party into a liberation movement that ushered in Namibia's independence. The NUNW was integrated in this fight, resisting colonialism operation, fighting against the exploitative Swanra system, and aligning itself with the SWAPO Party political program in pursuit of freedom and dignity for all Namibians. Honorable Speaker, I come from a humble background of public service and entrepreneurship, having worked as a security guard, a kapana vendor, and as well as a hairdresser, aching out of living before joining the labor movement in 2003. I was inspired by the resistance and conviction of leaders such as late Peter Ilonga, Risto Kapenda, Jacob Ngifindaka, Petrus Nevonga, Ambassador Elia Kayamo, Evaristus Karonda, David Namarenga, Loide Kasingo, Bobby Kanjala, Jeffrey Naubeb, and many others, all of whom have played a vital role in the fight for justice and dignity for Namibian workers. Madam Speaker, let me congratulate Honorable Erika Shafuda, Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises, and her entire team for crafting the 2025-2026 national budget under the leadership of Her Excellency President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. This budget was tabled before this House 27 March 2025, and it's a commendable effort that respond direct to the aspiration of our people. The President reminded us recently, we are too few to be poor. Indeed, this budget aligns with the social contract between SWAPO and the people of Namibia. As articulated in 2025 SWAPO Manifesto, it is a people-centered, mass-based budget that touches every corner of society. It is a labor-sensitive, gender-sensitive, and youth-focused. Madam Speaker, the Namibian people have once again renewed their trust in the SWAPO Party because our manifesto speaks direct to the lives, realities, and dreams of our people. The manifesto is not a document of promises. It's a vehicle for service delivery. Through this budget, our people must be able to see, feel, and experience real, tangible transformation of their daily lives. SWAPO has a proven track. Under the colonial rule, Namibian workers, especially black workers, were denied basic human rights. There were no legal recognition of labor rights, no freedom of association, no access to fair hearing upon dismissal, and no rights to collective bargaining or skill development. Today, thanks to the SWAPO-led government, Namibian workers enjoy legal protection. Namibian workers enjoy legal protection that continue to evolve in pursuing of fairness and as well as equity. Madam Speaker, in supporting this budget, it is crucial to acknowledge that SWAPO is the people and the people are SWAPO. No country existed without challenges. Namibian population has now surpassed the 3 million people. And with that growth comes increased demand to infrastructure, jobs and services. This budget responds to the challenges with a bold target of creating 500 jobs. Over the next 5 years, it prioritizes the following, as stipulated in SWAPO manifesto. The first one, quality education and healthcare. Equitable access to land, housing and sanitation. Poverty eradication and the strengthening of laws and institutions to improve service delivery in our country. Madam Speaker, this government has constantly fostered a conducive labor environment for both workers and employers. The 2025 to 2030 SWAPO manifesto emphasized full compliance with labor laws, and we must now take the following steps. Madam Speaker, the first one, finalize and modernize the key legislation such as the Labor Act, which is under review, the Social Security, which is under review, and the Affirmative Action Act, Implement Act, which is under review, to ensure alignment with the Namibian Constitution and the International Labour Standard. Ensure that lawful strikes are respected, and that workers do not lose, income when exercising their constitutional right to strike and pursue for fair collective bargaining. What we have seen with NBC recently. Strengthen enforcement of Affirmative Action Act at the workplaces. At present, non-compliance by employers and in fitness within the Employment Equity Commission have diluted its effectiveness. This failure undermines the effort to correct gender disparities, income inequalities, and the underrepresentation of the designated group in the workforce. Madam Speaker, on the 1st January 2025, the SWAPO-led government kept its promises. The SWAPO-led government kept its promises by implementing a national minimum wage for the first time in our country. The policy is a milestone aimed at improving the basic standard of living, reducing income inequality, and stimulating economic growth, particularly through enhancing consumer spending and improve workers' productivity. Supporting this bill, Madam Speaker, will empower labor agents to enforce the national minimum wage across vulnerable sectors such as charcoal production, retail and wholesale, logistics and security services, domestic workers, including workers in the informal economy.
Honorable member, can you please take your seat? The noise, no, Honorable Verani.
Speech, don't interrupt her. This enforcement is crucial.
Honorable member, just one moment, I want the honorable members, whether they are applauding or interrupting the member, to discontinue doing that. Because the member is making a maiden speech and you are making it impossible for people to hear what she's saying. So please, she's not provocative. I have not heard any provocativeness. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I continue, supporting this budget will empower labor agencies to enforce the national minimum wage across vulnerable sectors such as fishery, for example, charcoal production, retail and wholesale, logistics and security services, domestic work, including workers in the informal economy. This enforcement is crucial to protect workers from exploitation and to ensure dignity at work. As I conclude, Madam Speaker, this budget is a continuation of SWAPO legacy of liberation through development. It speaks to our commitment to the Namibian workers, the Namibian child and the Namibian future. Let us all arise above narrowing interest and support a budget that lays the foundation to share prosperity, inclusive growth, and social justice for all. As we embark on this important journey, Madam Speaker, I extend my best wishes of good health and wisdom to Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, our President, our Madam Speaker yourself, the Deputy Speaker, the Cabinet, and all of us, including the other side. As Member of Parliament, may we serve our people with unwavering dedication, passion, and love, and without compromise. I also humbly recall upon the working class of Namibia to engage with the national budget and take ownership of this budget. The budget is not just a financial document, it's a social, economic, legal, political instrument that directly affects our workplaces and livelihood. I so submit, Chairperson, Madam Speaker, with this, Madam Speaker, I here support the appropriation budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jonas. I think the level of interruptions was just unacceptable, honorable members. Please, let's not continue with that. Yeah, I see, I'm trying to look at Honorable Mbinge. I didn't hear anything that she said that was provocative. No. There was nothing. Now, I need to be assisted because I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at the gadget of Honorable Mbinge, and I don't see it as if she's asking for the floor, but my screen is saying she's asking for the floor. Secretariat, who is the next person? Honorable Iipumbu. Honorable Iipumbu Kalimbo. Where is Honorable Kalimbo? Oh, okay. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me also lay my hand on the budget presented by the Minister of Finance, Madame Shafuda. Standing here is Kalimbo Iipumbu Ndakorongoshi. Yeah. Headman of Exenene.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to do my maiden speech. I've done it already in the 7th Parliament.
Very good.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, fellow Namibians. Namibia economic freedom fighters has taken note of the recent tabling of the national budget for the next 5 years by the government of the Republic of Namibia. As a custodians of the voices of the voiceless and defenders of economic justice, we approach this budget with critical hope and revolutionary scrutiny. We acknowledge and commend the prioritization of key ministries such as education, health, and defense. At face value, this budget seems to carry a tone of progressiveness. However, as a movement rooted in grassroots realities, we ask a fundamental question. Does this budget truly speak to the needs of the people?
No.
Or does it merely tick boxes in the name of political performance?
Yes.
Yes, the Ministry of Education has been allocated the highest share of the budget. But where are the transformative measures? Where is the new thinking? Where are the deliberate strategies to address overcrowded classrooms, the shortage of teachers, and the lack of infrastructure in the rural schools?
It's okay. We can take it.
Honorable Speaker, I'm not going to take.
The member is not
I'm not going to take the point of order. Please allow me to contribute my very constructive. Yes.
May you both take a seat?
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Oh, okay. Honorable members, I'm going to give Honorable Evelyn Navas-Estayele a floor to make a point of order. But I want to implore on us to say we have a very tight, really, agenda. Ne? And we need to accommodate as many people as possible.
Yes,
so please let her be the last one to make
No, it's not going to happen like that.
No.
Never. It's either she speaks, we speak. If she doesn't speak, then we won't speak. It's nothing like
please.
that.
May I proceed?
Yes,
Speaker?
please.
Yeah.
But you are also making noise when a person...
No. You must sit down.
Okay.
We're asking for point of order.
Okay. Yeah. No, wait.
She has not been given the floor. Sit down.
Wait a moment. She is saying she is on a point of procedure. So
What procedure? We were also asking for procedure here, but then we were
I
denied.
also wanted a point
No.
of procedure.
No.
yeah.
Give me the mic. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Yes, please.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm rising on the procedure of the House. This behavior is not allowed here. Why are you behaving so unhonorable? Can you just listen? Madam Speaker, I'm on the point of procedure.
Okay, honorable member.
I ask for the indulgence of the honorable members.
Yes.
My procedure will also help the honorable members, especially the newcomers who are not listening.
Yes.
You must listen when we are talking. You must listen and learn. So, honorable speaker, these people must be called to order.
They must learn. They must
They are unhonorable.
Honorable Tayele, I needed you to quote the rule that we are standing on. So I want the members to hear what I'm saying. When you ask for the floor and you are given the floor, and the presiding officer wants to guide you or whatever, you need to pay attention to what the presiding officer is saying. You can't just get up and start talking. So I needed Honorable Tayele to quote the rule, because she's saying it's a point of procedure. So I wanted to hear what she was advising Parliament on. But I couldn't hear her because we were all talking at the same time. So,
They also do not want to.
Just talk to the speaker.
Honorable Speaker, let them go and search for the rule. I'm on the rule that do not allow any member to come in between the speaker and the speaker on the floor.
Okay.
And that was just in violation with Honorable Swako, and that's just the attention I wanted to give the speaker. Thank you so much. So it was not on you, my Honorable Shimi. You can proceed.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Tayele. That's an important point. No person is to pass between the presiding officer and a member that is taking the floor. That is noted. May we now proceed?
That was seriously
Class
sabotage.
captain, keep quiet, Emma.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Taire, you must listen to this one now. And my respective member, Shafuda. Throwing money at a broken system without systematic reform is not a solution. It is a political sedative meant to silence the frustration of the masses. We expected to see deliberate investment in technical and vocational training institutions across the country.
Yes.
We expected to see the establishment of innovation hubs and free access to early childhood education.
Yes.
Sadly, this budget only amplifies the status quo. It is economically responsible that the Ministry of Agriculture remains underfunded when it holds the key to food security, youth employment, and rural development. Namibia is rich in land and climate diversity. We could be exporting more than meat and importing less food if only the right investment were made. Honorable Speaker, where are the programs to train young Namibians in agro-processing, horticulture, and modern farming techniques? Where is the national plan to machinize communal farming and turn it into a commercial powerhouse? We are failing to prepare our youth for self-sufficiency, and that is a betrayal of the future. Honorable members, this budget fails to address the most immediate burden facing our people, the higher cost of living.
Yes.
The price of basic goods is skyrocketing. Housing is unaffordable. And public transport costs continue to deepen the pockets of the elite. While we hear promises of stability, we see no direct measures to ease the daily suffering of the working class and the unemployed. There is no significant increase in social grant, no policy shift on land ownership, and no strategy to bring down the price of housing or fuel. If this budget is not directly fighting poverty, then it is simply a document of delayed justice. Honorable members,
Very good.
the NEF is particularly concerned that developmental projects that could absorb thousands of unemployed youth are underfunded or completely absent. We expected to see large-scale state-led industrial projects, infrastructure development in the regions beyond Windhoek, and special economic zones in the north, east, and south, but instead, we are offered crumbs dressed as cake. Young people need jobs,
Yes.
not workshops. They need employment, not empty slogans.
Internships.
They need inclusion, not tokenism. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, fellow Namibians, we want the nation to stay vigilant. A beautiful budget can be destroyed by a corrupt hand. Without transparency. Madam Shafuda, listen to this one. Without transparency, without accountability, and without independent oversight, this budget can easily become a feeding trough for the politically connected. We therefore call for a detailed breakdown of how every cent will be spent, and we urge civil society, media, and citizens to demand accountability at every level. The NEF remains committed to economic freedom in our lifetime. We do not applaud for the sake of applause. While we recognize areas of promise in this budget, we demand more because our people deserve more. We demand a budget that empowers, transforms, and liberates. A budget that speaks to the dream of a village child and the ambitions of the township youth. A budget that does not pretend to be progressive, but is in fact revolutionary. We will continue to monitor, to question, and to lead where others have failed. I so submit.
Okay, I see that the next person asking for the floor is Honorable Ampanda, but the AR has no time allocated to it today. So they will not be able to take up, to participate in the debate today. I don't see any other person. Who is the next one? Yes, Honorable Ampanda, you may come.
If you recall yesterday's speaker, that's the dilemma that I was sitting with. Yeah, if you recall yesterday, that's the dilemma that we were sitting with. And I asked you that having finished with the maiden, I would then proceed. And you indicated that no, we are not going to allow that. Sit down and request for the floor again. That was your undertaking. Then I asked, oh, Speaker, so does that mean that in terms of our time allocated, I can still request for the floor? And you said yes. Therefore, the understanding in terms of how you summarize how the course of events, it was that understanding. If that's what you are saying, then explain to me, Speaker, that there was a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
and
I think
if there is a misunderstanding, let me just finish, Speaker.
Oh, I thought you were asking me to sit down.
No, I'm not done. I don't know. I'm supposed to be your favorite. I don't know what I did to you.
No, you are my favorite.
So then you then just explain that there was a misunderstanding. If there was a misunderstanding, how do we then proceed so that we are clear? Having seen how I've been treated in the house, so we need to have so that tomorrow we are clear, so that we don't come back to the same thing again. So when we clear that misunderstanding, just explain what is now going to happen next, so that we don't find ourselves in this situation again.
Point is, a political party must have time allocated to it on a day in order for a member of that political party to take the floor. And then the rest of the rules in regard to the number of times that an individual member may speak, the maiden speech, as I was saying the other day, all of those rules that are regulating that issue need to be read together. And if there is ambiguity or a need for further clarification, I had offered that such clarification can be provided even when we had a meeting of chief whips today. But that meeting having taken place already, members are welcome to raise any query with the front desk or with the speaker or deputy speaker as is appropriate, and we will provide clarification. So practically what it means, is this, that in the desk office is also supposed really to assist. What it means is that today, the 9th, APP has 10 minutes, IPC has 30 minutes, LPM has 20 minutes, NEF has 10 minutes, and SWAPO has 85 minutes. All the other parties that are not mentioned do not have any time allocated to them, so they will not be able to take the floor today. Okay, that will be the last question, honorable members, because I don't want us to go back to yesterday and we eat into the time for the debate and we find that a lot of MPs are not able to speak. So I'll give you the floor one last time.
We're almost done with it.
No, please, yeah.
After it.
Yeah. No. I think that if there is further clarity needed, really, I will advise that it's sought after the session. Today, it will not affect you because today there is no time allocated to you. So there would be no negative consequences. Let me hear out Honorable.
No, it's fine. I accept. So tomorrow, so we are just clear. Tomorrow we will do a contribution.
Honorable member.
So it's fine. I accept.
Yeah. Further clarification will be provided after now. So I would give the floor to Honorable Venani.
Very much for recognizing my point of order after a difficulty. Yesterday, I wanted us to find each other on this matter. This is the dilemma in which we are finding ourselves. We allocate time to political parties to speak, but the time of the House is not enough for that time slot, then we are doing a disservice to the debate. I would have loved to see a situation where we say, for example, the ruling party yesterday had 85 minutes, and only 25 minutes of their time was used. And that time is now lapsed. Same with other parties. I think our Honorable Bengari also spoke 10 minutes. Our time lapsed. Now, how are we going to accommodate to make sure that the time allocated today, that I don't know whether it's an hour or whatever, that we have that time within the sitting of Parliament? But by saying, no, your time has lapsed because Parliament has adjourned because of time, you are doing a disservice to parties. So I want the Speaker to guide us and to assist us. That what happens if the time that we have to rise, a party that had 85 minutes, for example, or 40 minutes or 10 minutes, have only used 2 minutes of their time, what happens to that time? Because the allocation time is meant for speakers to contribute. And if you are saying Parliament is now going home because it's adjourned, just guide us. Yes, thank you.
We'll approach the Deputy Speaker who will be organized in order to discuss with you that issue. So for today, I would like to call on the next speaker so that we don't lose time for the debate. The issue that you are decrying really, that is important, Honorable Masake would make her maiden speech. Yeah, Honorable Member, before you take the floor, let me just make one short announcement. Now, we lost some minutes at the beginning of the session, not as much as yesterday, but we still lost some time. And can we agree to skip the tea break? Yeah, okay. So, agreed, Honorable Member, you may take the floor.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member of the Parliament, and distinguished guests, it is with great honor and deep humility that I stand before this distinguished House today as the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, Fishery, Water and Land Reform. I am Ruth Masake, born and raised in Zambezi region. I am here representing the SWAPO party, the SWAPO party that has assigned me to represent it in this august House. This moment represents a significant milestone in my journey, and I'm profoundly grateful for the trust and confidence placed in me by Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the President of the Republic of Namibia, and I would want to use this opportunity to congratulate her being the first female ever President in the Republic of Namibia, above all, the people of our beloved nation. At this moment, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the citizens of Namibia for the mandate they have entrusted to us as SWAPO party. I also acknowledge and salute the invaluable contribution of the farmers, fishermen, and rural communities whose unwavering dedications to agriculture, water management, and land stewardship in this backbone of our economy. This resilience, hard work, and innovation will continue to guide the policies we develop, promote, and implement. Agriculture, fishery, water, and land are the fundamental pillars of our nation's economy's growth, social development, and environmental sustainability. Providing livelihood to millions of our people in this phase of global challenges such as climate change, natural resources, whereas they seem to be limited, and heightened competition, we bear a collective responsibility to strengthen these sectors in a way that sustainable, inclusive, and forward-thinking continues. Agriculture is the heart of our nation, supporting families, communities, and local economies across the country. It is clear that the future of agriculture lies in embracing modalities and sustainable practices, such as we must leverage innovation and technology to enhance productivity while protecting our land and water resources. A key priority will be there to continue empowering of our farmers, particularly women and youth, through improved access to markets, modern farming techniques, and financial support. The fisheries sector plays a crucial role in food security and provides essential livelihoods to coastal communities and the nation as a whole. To address the challenges such as overfishing, climate change, and infrastructure gaps, we must adopt responsible fishing practices, strengthening regulatory frameworks, and invest in the sustainable management of our marine resources. These actions are vital to ensuring the long-term prosperity of this section or sector of the future generation. Water, our most precious resources, requires a careful and effective management, especially as we confront the pressure of urbanizations and shifting climate patterns. Our approach to water management will be a priority policy aimed at ensuring equitable access to clean water, safe water for all citizens, enhancing water conservation and promoting responsible usage across all the sectors. Land reform remains a central use in shaping the socio-economic landscape of our nation. I am committed to advancing land justice, ensuring that the land reform programs are fair and transparent, and contributing to sustainable agricultural development. We will focus on promoting the efficient and equitable use of the land, particularly empowering marginalized communities, including women and youth, while safeguarding the land rights to all citizens. In carrying out these responsibilities, I therefore pledge to work closely with the colleagues in the ministry and engage with the stakeholders across both the public and private sectors. Our collective goals will be to create an enabling environment in which farmers, fishermen, water users, and landowners can strive without compromising the resources and opportunity available to future generations. While I am fully aware of the significant challenges before us, I am confident in the immense potential of our nation through determination, innovation, and collaborative efforts. We will overcome these obstacles and lay the foundation of sustainable development and food security, not forgetting shared prosperity. In conclusion, I therefore support the budget which has been already tabled by the Minister of Finance. I reaffirm my unwavering commitment to the people of this country. Together, we will work tirelessly to ensure that every citizen can benefit from a sustainable agricultural economy, responsible fisheries, ensure access to water, and equitable land reform. Together, we will forge a future where agriculture, fishery, water, and land reform serves a catalyst to progress and inclusivity and prosperity for all Namibians. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I call upon Honorable Modestus Achipara. Maiden speech.
What is it?
Stop. Behave.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Thank you very much, Honorable Karibu. Can I use my time, please? Yeah, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, I rise before this esteemed House, deeply humbled and profoundly honored to deliver my maiden speech as a newly elected Member of Parliament. The immense privilege and solemn responsibility entrusted to me by the people of Namibia fills my heart with gratitude and an unwavering sense of duty. I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to the mighty SWAPO Party and the Namibian people for electing me to this noble institution. Your trust is my greatest obligation, and I pledge to serve you with unyielding integrity, unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment to our shared values, and aspirations. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to begin by paying tribute to the trailblazers of our great nation, whose visionary leadership and resolute courage laid the formidable foundation upon which our republic stands. I extend my deepest respect and sincere appreciation to our founding President, His Excellency, Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nuyoma, whose unparalleled commitment to the liberation struggle and nation building remains a timeless inspiration to all of us. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, furthermore, I wish to congratulate Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah on her historic election as the 5th President and first female President of our Republic, and you, Honorable Speaker, on your historic election as the first female Speaker of the Namibian Parliament. These elections represent a monumental milestone in our nation's relentless journey towards equality, progress, and inclusivity. You are not only accomplished leaders, but also beacons of hope for many Namibians, particularly women and the young people. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, to my fellow newly elected honorable members, I once more extend my warmest congratulations and best wishes. I look forward to working collaboratively with all honorable members to advance the interests of our beloved nation. As a new member of Parliament, I bring with me aspiration anchored in the desire to see a Namibia where every citizen is afforded the opportunity to thrive and prosper. My profound passion for education and social justice propels me to advocate for laws and policies that empower our most vulnerable communities and enable our youth to become the architects of their own destinies. Honorable Speaker, one area of particular concern is the enhancement of our education system, especially in the fields of technical or vocational subjects and special education. It is a troubling reality that some of our learners with special needs are admitted to mainstream schools, not because it serves their educational requirements, but rather because specialized schools are far too few to accommodate them. I shall dedicate my efforts to advocating for a well-targeted education budget that prioritizes the construction of specialized schools and the comprehensive training yeah. Can I have the floor, please? Let me use my floor.
Yes, proceed.
Okay.
Yes, proceed.
Yeah. Education is not merely a privilege, but a fundamental right enshrined in our Namibian Constitution. Every child, regardless of their abilities, deserves an education system that genuinely works for them. Moreover, we live in a challenging times where the adverse effect of climate change, historical economic disparities, and other societal challenges exert immense pressure on our people. However, looking firmly at the 2025-2026 appropriation bill prepared by our Honorable Minister of Finance, I strongly believe that through the collective collaboration, innovation, and unwavering dedication, we can confront these challenges head-on. Under your esteemed and visionary leadership, Madam Speaker, I am confident that this House will not only pass the 2025-2026 appropriation bill, but will also enact laws that create a conducive environment where every Namibian can thrive. Let us harness the collective wisdom and diverse perspectives present in this House to enhance our education and healthcare system while vigorously combating the scourges of poverty, unemployment by creating sustainable job opportunities for our youth. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as I take my seat in this august House, I look forward to working hand in hand with all honorable members in the House, irrespective of political affiliation, to build a brighter, fairer, and more prosperous Namibian for everyone. May our collective efforts be guided by noble purpose of advancing the welfare of our people and securing better future for generations to come. We must constantly remind ourselves that our work transcends mere legislations. It is about uplifting the lives of our citizens. Every decision we make carries the power to enhance or hinder the well-being of our people. Therefore, let us approach our work with humility, dedication, and a genuine commitment to prioritizing the interests of the Namibian people. With this, Honorable Speaker, I support the 2025-26 budget bill, and I thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. Now the next speaker is Honorable Mashindano of the IPC. You may take the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 8th Parliament, honorable members, the most patriotic, selfless, and visionary leader of the IPC, Dr. Panduleni Filemon Bango Itula, GMCs, Speaker, am I protected, Speaker? Thank you.
It's a maiden speech.
GMCs, patriots, and the great people of Namibia, I greet you. It is with great humility and profound sense of duty that I, Michael Mashindano, the IPC's national youth leader, and at the same time shadowing the Ministry of Finance and Social Grants, a village champion like many, and a boy who traveled about 30 kilometers to and from school every day. After the unfortunate passing of my parents at just the age of 10. After successfully completing my grade 12, my only grandmother had to sell all our cows. After government said there was no money to pay for my tuition fee. Despite these challenges, I pursued my tertiary education, only to find myself among many youth who were unemployed. Hence, today I rise to address the pressing concerns of unemployment, poverty, homelessness, economical transformation, and fiscal policy reforms. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Namibia is wrestling with an alarming unemployment rate exceeding 50% when you include discouraged workers. Yet our fiscal policies outlined by the Minister of Finance fail to provide a robust and a practical framework for job creation, particularly for our young people. the economic hardship endured by many, including young graduates with qualifications but unable to secure employment years after their graduation, 35 years of self-rule, demand an urgent and a decisive intervention, yet the budget fails to cater for these needs. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this House, the Minister of Finance and Social Grants Management allocated a whole 13.7 billion Namibian dollars to debt servicing, equivalent to 14.8% of revenues, and also equivalent to 4.9% of our GDP. These high amounts going into paying debt do not only cause economic stagnation, but also reduce our physical space, leaving less money available for essential public needs like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social grants. Yes. The same budget has a deficit of 12.8 billion Namibian dollars, posing a serious risk on increasing Namibian debt, higher interest rates, inflation pressure, and even economic uncertainty in the long run. Actually. Honorable members, fellow Namibians, we expected an increase on social grants, not just because it was a campaign promise, but mainly to reduce poverty and inequality in our land, increase access to basic needs like housing and education, and improve economic growth by having access to money to spend on goods and services. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Finance recently announced internship plans for unemployed graduates. Though the intention might be good, might be good, it places a burden on young graduates without adequate financial support. A monthly allowance of 2,500 Namibian dollars is not sufficient for basic needs like transportation and food. We must propose a comprehensive youth unemployment program, including job creation incentives, vocational training, and adequate financial support for our young people. The other day, I was talking to a young Paulus who lives in one nation, and he tells me the rent of his kabashu is 2,400 Namibian dollars. You can imagine if he is to get this opportunity, he will be left with $100 only. A comprehensive tax reform is imperative, one that aligns with the principles set out in the IPC manifesto. Such policy should include the gradual reduction of VAT to 22% over the next 5 years, and an increase in the VAT threshold to 2 million Namibian dollars. These measures will alleviate the tax burdens on our SMEs, enabling them to expand and also to create the much-needed employment opportunities and stimulate economic growth. This is particularly crucial considering the significant contraction in our workforce, from above 700,000 in 2018 to a mere 550,000 today, a decline that has worsened poverty levels and diminished government revenues. Honourable members, as I conclude, as a living testimony of non-priority budgets that has been happening in this House, I take my place in these chambers with unwavering commitment to the people of Namibia, particularly the youth, who have entrusted me with the responsibility to advocate for policies that secure their futures. Guided by the IPC manifesto, I pledge to hold this government accountable and to work tirelessly in pursuit of policies that uplift our citizens and restore faith in our economic prospects. Namibia is all we have. It is not for sale. It is our collective duty to safeguard its future. The time for meaningful change is now. I urge all members to support our proposed reform and work together towards a brighter economic for Namibia. Honorable Speaker, as I take my seat, I want you to appreciate me for using the time efficiently, and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mashindano. I indeed do appreciate that you remained within your time. May I remind the honorable members, please, to not interrupt new members when they are making their maiden speeches. All of us have that equal responsibility to respect the rules. Honorable member. Okay, the next speaker. Secretariat, can you assist me? Secretariat, can you assist me? So the next person is, unfortunately, I cannot see all the mics, so it's Honorable Tiki Abraham. She's also making a maiden speech. Can we please just give her the courtesy? Take the floor, Madam. Honorable member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, my name is Tiki Abraham, member of this 8th National Assembly. Firstly, I would like to thank God who made it possible for me to be in this august house. I'm deeply humbled and feel honored to address this august house for the first time. To me, it's this privilege and the responsibility that the Namibian people have placed their trust and confidence in me by electing me in this august house. I wish to express my gratitude to the Almighty God for his guidance, protection, and generosity, for the gift of making me one of the leaders of Namibia. I further extend my gratefulness towards the SWAPO party and to the rank and file of the SWAPO party members, in particular the SWAPO Party Elders Council, that nominated me from Karas region to the national level. To my family, I'm grateful for their unwavering support and strength, especially my mother, Teopolina Shinana, who is 90 years old now. I hope she's watching this live parliamentary proceeding right from Engela. And my late father, Reverend Nathaniel Hafeni Shinana, may his soul continue to rest in peace. Equally to my loving and ever-supportive husband, the Luther's Town Council Honorable Councillor Justina Abraham, who inspired and encouraged me to follow his political footsteps and be a proud woman in the National Assembly. I appreciate you. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the budget delivered by my fellow Member of Parliament, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Eric Ashafuda, has my full support. Well done, Honorable Minister. I remain confident that the budget will be well received by both Namibians and investors alike. The presented budget is well balanced, setting the tone of reining in the government expenditure while placing focus on reducing inequality and poverty, promoting economic growth with a strong emphasis on youth and women empowerment. The budget aligning with the SWAPO party's mission of ensuring a decent living of our people as we aim to enhance living standards through the provision of land and basic services such as water,
sanitation, and electricity. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, land and housing remain central of Namibia's development agenda. We must continue to push forward these reforms that promote fairness, equity, and sustainability, ensuring that every Namibian has the opportunity to live in a home that is secure, affordable, and conducive for their well-being. With this few points, I believe that under the leadership of our new government, headed by our female president, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, and her cabinet, Namibia will be a country of milk and honey, and we will work hard. And we will work hard together to make sure that status is realized. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, I thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. The next speaker is Honorable Kashinga Siwa.
What is it?
Good afternoon, honorable members. I'm looking for attention. The name is Nono Kashinga Siwa from Hobabes. Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make my humble contribution to the maiden budget presented by our new government. Led by Her Excellency President Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. The Honorable Finance Minister in her budget speech has laid out the vision of our government at reinforcing confidence through a slow but a steady continuation of the fiscal consolidation of the last decade, yet with a clear path towards investments in key infrastructural and social upliftment programs. Further, the 2025-2026 national budget is a pragmatic recognition of the microeconomic opportunities available to our country and the enormous socio-economic challenges facing our country. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the 2025-2026 national budget presented by the Finance Minister, Honorable Erika Shafuta, on the 27th of March 2025 was preceded by high expectation of reforms from all walks of life in Namibia. The budget has also been presented at the backdrop of the aftermath of the current global economic uncertainties caused by the imposition of trade tariffs by the USA that are promoting different government interventions or responses around the world, which provide difficulty for long-term planning. I believe that Honorable Finance Minister has done a great job compiling this year's budget in view of greater demand for government intervention in dealing with the myriad of social challenges such as housing, education, unemployment, inequality, and health, as well as the heightened expectations placed on our new government following last year's elections. The budget gave due importance to all sections of economy and has targeted to enhance infrastructure development while keeping its focus on dealing with poverty, alleviation, and social upliftment. I am particularly pleased with the growth in the development budget by 2.4 billion from 10.4 billion this year to 12.8 billion in the coming budget year. We should also take pride in the continued prioritization of the social clusters, especially the allocation to the education sector, comprising 30% of the total allocation. This is clear evidence of our government emphasizing on the lives and future of our country's young people. We should, however, continue to look for ways to improve the outcomes for from our country's investments made over the last decades. We need to see improvement in the quality of our people's livelihoods through these investments. Additionally, the increased allocation to the various social protection programs will go a long way to safeguarding livelihood and protecting families. This will also help to support our country's just to reduce inequality and poverty. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, it is pleasing to see the improving macroeconomic parameters, including the positive GDP growth of the last 3 years and a moderation in inflation in the interest rate of the last 1 year. The gradual relaxation of the tax burden on our people should further move to provide our people with more cash in their pockets. This shall allow for the improving livelihood of our people as we, as government, move decisively and intentionally to tackle poverty, unemployment, inequality, education outcomes, and access to health facilities. In the current environment of uncertainties, we as leaders have a greater need to understand the challenges and opportunities that lies ahead. The current budget once again emphasizes the importance of government in the Namibian economy with the numerous social and infrastructure initiatives planned. Government expenditure will be a key driver of growth and social transformation and upliftment in the coming year. I would like to congratulate the Honorable Finance Minister for the delivering a budget that is well balanced and responsive to the needs of the economy and the expectations and aspirations of our people. I support this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Hifikwa. Honorable Hifikwa. It's a maiden speech, ne?
Huh?
Okay.
Oh. Okay,
May I proceed?
Yes, it's on.
Thank you very much.
Wait.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, fellow citizens out there, good afternoon. Standing before you is Berta Victoria, a researcher, a psychologist, a sociologist, and an educator for more than 13 years. It's with profound sense of responsibility that I stand before you today as a newly elected lawmaker and a shadow minister of Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
I would like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to the courageous electorate for the bold step they took to cast their votes in favor of the IPC to ensure that the aspiration of the Namibian people are signified today in this August House through the IPC.
Good.
My dear students, my dear teachers, the unemployed qualified teachers out there, your worries about the future, your frustrations, your struggles to make ends meet, your conviction motivated me to take up this step. I have dedicated more than 13 years in shaping minds and advocating for the curriculum that truly prepares the youth for the reality of the Namibian society, as well as preparing them for the job market. But I got a shock of my life to realize that most of my effort went in vain. As I see my learners, whom I taught with dedication and keenness, in the streets and unemployed.
Can you imagine?
As someone who has been in the classroom over the years as a teacher, I have seen first-hand challenges faced by teachers, learners, and the education sector at large. And I'm here today to creatively contribute to the betterment of our education system. Madam Speaker, a teacher is regarded as a source of knowledge.
Yes.
but it frustrates me not to understand the inconsistency of how our learners progress through the education system. How do we explain to our grade 11 learners who obtain 3 C's and 3 U's symbols, summing up only to 15 points, that they can proceed right away to grade 12, while others who achieved 2 A's and 4 D symbols, summing up to the whole 30 points, that they can repeat or attend NEMCOL before proceeding to grade 12. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, this 1-year gap is not making sense to me. It created frustration, discouragement, and confusion amongst our learners. And as we speak, most of them have given up on education. What is the ministry really trying to achieve? It's time to address this disparity.
Yes, please.
In addition, Madam Speaker, honorable members, the promotional policy is basically pushing learners out of the system.
Yeah.
Even learners who cannot read, or learners who scored all the U's may be transferred to the next grade based on age rather than the ability to prove themselves academically able. Can you imagine the damage you are doing to your nation? Is it really being done to benefit our learners, or is it just being done for the sake of it? Moreover, Madam Speaker, the revised curriculum is designed to allow the grade 9s and the grade 11 learners to exit secondary education to vocational centers without equipping them with basic vocational skills for the market. How can their ministry expect our learners to blossom when our education system does not equip them with the required skills for the job market? Madam Speaker, I would love to bring to the attention of this House, agriculture science is not being taught in all schools. The subjects such as arts, physical education are only taught once per week as non-promotional subjects. Taught by teachers who are not trained. Can you imagine a mathematics teacher teaching arts? Is the government's intention to prioritize in these sectors really doable without foundation? Can one go into these sectors without practical knowledge? Madam Speaker and honorable dear members, on the other most urgent issue is the failure rate amongst our learners, because the classes are overcrowded. And this makes it difficult for our teachers to identify the challenges of each learner effectively. Consequently, the learners are not equipped with necessary skills, educational materials are not provided, and they are not given support to succeed. Alternatively, the ministry should make sure that a purposeful and a practical curriculum is developed and aligned to the budget accordingly.
Yes, please.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the inclusion of early childhood development in our curriculum is undermined. Research shows that the early years of foundation are foundations of lifelong learning.
Yes.
And by strengthening the ECD, we can give our children a better start.
Yes.
Additionally, we cannot ignore the influence of social institutions such as families, health, politics, and economy in our learners' academic performance. It's critical that we integrate pragmatically psychological support into our education system to help learners and teachers navigate the social challenges and become good citizens. Honorable Speaker, the government implemented a free education policy on paper,
yes,
but practically made parents to sponsor the same education, because they have to buy stationeries, they have to buy reams of papers, and
Yes, please.
And the resources required for teaching and learning are not available.
You see?
Perhaps it can be called anything else, not free education.
Yes.
During the previous years, 80% of our budget goes to administration, with a large portion goes to salaries. Very little left to buy stationaries and upgrade physical infrastructures. Madam Speaker, my dear members, the learners in Omuni Combined School in Angwena region and the Joy Mungungu Secondary School in Rundu are being taught in sheds, in tents and under trees. With a 20 budget remaining from our budget, will this be enough to give them a conducive learning environment? Is there hope for them? There is a need for building more classes to address these major national challenges that hinders teaching and learning. Building more schools can also absorb our unemployed teachers out there. We urge the ministry to abolish the interviews as an entry to employment and absorb these teachers accordingly. As I conclude, Madam Speaker and honorable dear members, we must align our education system with the demand of the job market by developing courses that provide practical skills. We should ensure our youth are equipped for employment and can contribute meaningfully to our economy. Education is the key to our nation's progress. I urge the ministry not to leave these needs unattended. I pledge to work together, though, with my fellow honorable members to ensure that Namibian educational system is serving a purpose and the students receive the quality education they deserve. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable members, I can see that there is a determination that seems to be shared amongst all political parties equally to not respect the rule on maiden speeches. It is equally shared, even in party members of the parties whose members are on the floor are disrupting their own members. So that's why I'm saying there is a collective commitment, it seems. But I just want to draw our attention to the fact that the people out there want to hear what these new members are saying. So if we don't have respect for the rules, let's at least give courtesy to the people who voted for us. So if we don't have respect, we must respect the people out there who want to hear the people they voted to this house making their statements on this very important bill. So I hope that going forward, the applause would come later or in between. You cannot, this one is jeering, the other one is clapping, and the other one is standing, and so forth. So the next honorable member.
Emma, what did you do, Emma? Yeah, you are making it.
Honorable members, we note that the time for some of the political parties for the day is finished. So the next member who is from the IPC, unfortunately, I will not be able to give the floor to, because the time that is allocated to IPC being 30 minutes.
Make use of their time. No one is...
One moment. We need to proceed.
Honorable Speaker, we have 30 minutes.
You don't have the floor.
Two have spoken. Only two have spoken.
It's gone. It's gone.
The IPC.
No, it is not.
The IPC. Yes.
Now I'm counting you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. The IPC had 30 minutes for today. And according to the record that is kept there, the 30 minutes have been used up by the members who spoke. Okay, honorable members, I can see that the staff members' records are not accurate. I can see the records are not accurate. Let me make a ruling so that we can proceed. So the Secretariat, please be vigilant about timekeeping, because I'm relying on you. And I think it is important also that we note not only how many people have spoken, but how much time they used up. Because I know that some people don't use up the whole 10 minutes. So please take note. But here they have acknowledged that no, the third person can still speak, and that yes, Mr. Mashindano did not use 10 minutes. What did I say? Oh, sorry. You are Honorable Mashindano. I withdraw. You are not Mr. Mashindano. You are Honorable Mashindano. Too much noise in the house. Oh. So it's Honorable Mashindano. Now the next member to take the floor is Honorable Mulonga.
It is both a profound privilege and a distinct honor to introduce this esteemed individual, a proud son of Ovambo location in the heart of Cathedral East constituency. My name is Michael Mulonga, a member of this distinguished house representing the Independent Patriots for Change, and also serving as the Shadow Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform. First and foremost, allow me to extend my deepest gratitude to the thousands of Namibians who with unwavering determination stood in long lines to cast their votes. It is through their support that we are entrusted with this responsibility to represent their voice in this esteemed house. To them, I offer this assurance: your vote will not be in vain, and we will honor it by representing your interest with the utmost diligence and commitment. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I bring with me a wealth of experience in the youth development sector and agriculture, having served for 7 years at the National Youth Council of Namibia. Simultaneously, I have a passion and have been advocating for the growth of small-scale poultry farmers through my enterprise. Being a poultry farmer myself for the past 10 years has given me first-hand experience on the challenges many young people face when entering the farming industry. This includes, amongst others, access to land and capital, which are vital resources needed to establish and run a successful farm. It is from this background that I humbly present my aspiration to foster legislative action that directly addresses the needs of the Namibian youth while advocating for fair and equitable distribution of the national resources, particularly in the agriculture and fishery sector. Namibia, being a semi-arid country, has been faced by severe drought caused by poor rainfall experienced in the past few years. This has led to major water shortages, especially in rural areas where community members have to walk long distances to access drinking water. This rainy season, Namibia has experienced above average rainfall that has seen our water levels in our dams filling up to capacity. Of note, we have also seen the Negatal Dam that has been overflowing, with water running straight into the ocean. This then begs a question: are we really implementing our water master plan? This discussion of building a desalination plant to save floods in the Erongo region is one of the projects that has been on our tables for too long. It is therefore of utmost importance that we expedite the implementations of such projects in order to grow the agricultural sector, which is the backbone of the Namibian economy. Additionally, there is a pressing need to revitalize the agricultural and fishery sector, enabling them to become a pivotal driver to economic growth and employment for our citizens. For too long, Namibia has been singing the song of becoming self-sufficient when it comes to food production. This dream can only be achieved if we prioritize sufficient resources in our 2025-2026 budget towards small-scale farmers, which will enable them to grow and meet the demands that our market requires. Equally, proper resources and support needs to be extended to all our green schemes so that they become productive in living up to their mandates. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I want to bring to you the plight of the Namibian people who are kicked off commercial farms and now living in the corridors, stripped of their dignity and the right to decent living. It is disheartening to see fellow Namibians, small children and their animals out on the open roads, bracing the heavy rains and the cold winters in the wilderness. It is my hope that this budget speaks and resonates to their plight. The land question in Namibia remains as one of the major challenges that we need to address as a nation. It is therefore important that we need to speed up the implementation of the October 2018 Land Conference resolutions. Vote 37 of 2.5 billion and vote 38 of about 1 billion allocated in the 2025-2026 budget for the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform does not adequately address the entire needs of the whole sector, and I shall further elaborate when the specific budget vote is discussed. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the responsibility placed upon us is immense. The Namibian people have entrusted us with their confidence and hope, and it is our solemn duty to enact laws that will be impactful amongst the lives of the Namibian people. I eagerly look forward to engaging in thoughtful, constructive debates as we collaborate to build a prosperous Namibia for all. Namibia is all we have. We must and can save it. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. So the IPs, who is the next person? Honorable Itope has the floor. It's a maiden speech.
Go for it, madam. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Member, I am Martha Itope. I am delighted to give my maiden speech at this August House and to contribute to this important debate. I have been a district coordinator for SWAPO Party in Karasburg West constituency, Karas region, since 2014 to 2025. A member of SWAPO Party Youth League, Central Committee member from 2014 to 2025, and a member of SWAPO Party Women Council from 2022 to 2025. My nomination and being elected as a member of parliament is a symbol of hope from the people of the mighty Karas region and the nation at large. As a new National Assembly member, this is a historic occasion. I present this the resident of Karas region and the Namibian people in general. The voters accept more from us, and our performance should instill confidence, hope, and trust in them. We should perform our work and remember that we stand before those who come before us. They build a foundation that we could all cement. Honorable members, Honorable Speaker, Karas region, in particular Karasbek West, Noduver and Ausinger, is an agricultural industry producing crops such as grapes, dates, and vegetables. It is at this juncture I would like to point out the following. Ausinger is a billion industry. However, the farmers in the vineyards live in a harsh condition, lack access to clean water and sanitation. Residents fetch water from dialect to the river, which is often too contaminated. Although health care is an essential service, the health facility there is understaffed, which compromises the quality and the health care delivered and leads to poor patient outcomes. In addition, honorable members, the fire bleak has always posed a significant threat to our Ausinger community. Almost every year, there is a fire disaster, breaks out and destroys property due to favorable rates used to construct houses, and lack of near fire station. The situation highlighted, honorable speakers, honorable members, more significant systemic issues and raised questions about the responsibilities of the grapes companies. The government should intervene since this problem has been overdue for conditions to ensure the well-being and dignity of all individuals involved in the industry. Fire brigade vehicles should be sourced to curb the situation in Ausinger, while sanitation to be addressed. The Orange River Irrigation Project, ORIP, is a commercial farm of the Ministry of Agriculture. The project is situated in the Karas region, Ausinger, about 55 kilometers west in Noduver. The project produces various grapes and dates. However, the environment is also ideal for producing vegetables. The farm management has always under various companies that manages the farmer on behalf of the ministry. The farm has 20 small-scale farmers, farming in the unit of 4 hectares each, totaling to 80 hectares. The 4 hectares of each farmer is divided as follows. Grapes are 2 hectares, while dates are 0.5 and vegetable. ORIP is 520 hectare government-owned farm currently. The farm has 166 hectares under production, of which 86 hectares is a commercial farming, while 80 hectares is under small-scale farming. In 2001, honorable speakers, honorable members, the farmers entered into a 3-year training agreement with the government. They were trained by the Namibia Development Corporation, NDC, a service provider managers to commercial park and provide service to the small-scale farmers. Respectively, as the management company service providers to set up great vineyards on 520 hectares stated owner range at Ausinger. After completing their training, plan were to that each farmer should be allocated a 99 years agreement as part of the government, which has never been materialized to date. It should be noted that all grapes at ORIP were uploaded 4 years ago for the following reason. The grape trees were more than 20 years, and old 20 years old grapes are no longer fertilized for production. Sorotana thumbstone, Sugar1, and Frame is also cultivars that were in that farm, and they are no longer at the market demand. The Ministry of Agriculture, Waters, Fisheries, and Land Reform should intervene on the following way to start production and enhance our food securities and sanitation. Addressing the risk agreement of the small-scale farmers. The small-scale farmers has been trained, Honorable Speakers, Honorable Members. The small-scale farmers has been trained and farming in this unit for dedication. On this note, the risk agreement of the small-scale farmers be renewed, reviewed, and addressed. The initial plan was a 99 years risk agreement after completion of the training they completed way back. Planting of new grapes. The small-scale farmers need assistance in form of production grants to purchase fertilizer, chemical, and the new grapes to plant in the uploaded field. It should be understood, Honorable Speakers, Honorable Members, that the production of grapes, dates, and vegetables is particularly labor and capital intensive. To ensure higher production, certified seedlings need to be purchased from reputable management of small-scale farmers when the government terminated an agreement with Cool Fresh Namibia to render marketing and plantation service to them. The current situation is substandard. It is critical that if we want to thrive in agriculture and enhance food security and sustainability to help this farm, we should address the following. Order grape wine, seedling from certified nursery in South Africa or other country with reputable record of supplying higher quality, disease-free planting material. Grapevine must be ordered at the right time, since the nursery prefer that vine or plants to be requested at least 6 to 12 months in advance. Only 2 years old grapevine can be purchased to ensure they start bearing fruits during the first year after planting. The materials such as pole and the wire must be sourced according to the correct standard and quantity for measurement hectare. The new grape wine structure irrigation system will need to be installed for the measure hectare before planting of the grape wines per farmer. All the fertilizer and chemical must be procured from a blue factory, supplied in Namibia and South Africa, as recommended by qualified agronomists. Soil analysis for hectare to be planted should be done. Table grapes, the cost to establish the table grapes farm in Namibia is around 650,000 per hectare, which is additional to 400,000 per hectare in operation cost. This should generate an average income of about 640 per hectare. An operation cost will be required, which is 440,000 hectare per 40 times hectare of grapes for small-scale farmers. This interprets plus minus 16 million in total. In conclusion, yes. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, yes. A nation that cannot feed itself will forever remain vulnerable. Yes. Henceforth, I call upon the relevant ministers, agents, and stakeholders involved in go on the ground to familiarize themselves with the current situation. And I thank you. Thank you.
recognize Honorable Kumbwa Ambrosius. Honorable Ambrosius. Honorable Ambrosius.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity granted. First with my maiden speech and then on the budget.
You have...
My name is Ambrosius Humba, the President of All People's Party, APP.
Okay. Okay. Honorable member, can I just say
Another
something?
name is a bit longer. I need to introduce the name to you.
Just one moment. Yes. Honorable member, can you just take a seat? Can you just take a seat? I hope you pause his time. You see, I note that the new members start by saying they will make their maiden speech and then they will make their budget speech. What you are actually doing by doing that is, after you are done with your maiden speech, you can now be interrupted if you are within the time. But if you have time available to you, just make your intervention. Don't split your time between maiden speech, because I want to protect you throughout your intervention. Okay? Okay, just make your intervention. Don't split it into two. Yeah, you may now go ahead, please. Point of order.
Honorable members of the 8th Parliament, I was born in Guab, 1963, with my birth recorded in Bagani in 1979 in Mugwe constituency in the Ambukush Kingdom, Kavango East region. I am pleased to see that the 8th Parliament is composed largely with youth along with technocrats and academics. This composition reflects progress. However, I also recognize the decline in the number of senior politicians, which possess a challenge as it disrupts the balance between experienced leaders and new entrants. A healthy blend of veteran politicians and new leaders is essential for continuity and informed decision making. Comparative studies indicate that the effectiveness and commitment of office bearers are often assessed within the first 100 days of their tenure. Competency, productivity, and public service delivery within this period will determine the direction of this 8th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, having qualifications, being young, or being outspoken is not enough. Implementation must go beyond theoretical and discussions on paper. It is essential to convert theory into practice at all costs and under all circumstances. According to the 2023 NAST report, Namibia ranked 105th out of 106 Commonwealth countries in the Happiness Index. This is a cause for concern and demand urgent attention. In terms of good governance, Namibia requires youth-driven reforms in laws and policies to address the needs and aspirations of future generations. Our decision-making should ensure that costs are internalized rather than shifted to future generations, whether those costs are environmental, structural, financial, economic, social, or cultural. I urge a thorough review of our food import and export policies, as well as other essential commodities that impact livelihoods, both directly and indirectly, with the aim of making necessary revisions for national benefit. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, may I now present my deliberations and input for the 2025-2026 financial year budget. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I rise to make a contribution on behalf of my party, the All People's Party, APP. Allow me to begin by congratulating our fifth president and mother of the nation, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia, and also extend my congratulations to Her Excellency Lucia Wetboy, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Dr. Sarah Gwongela Amadila, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Elian Gurare, and to all cabinet ministers and distinguished members of the 8th Parliament, I wish you all strength and success as you steer our nation toward prosperity. I would also like to express my appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Finance and Social Grants, Honorable Erika Shafuda, and her team for crafting a feasible budget under immense time pressure under the theme Beyond 3 decades and a half for a prosperous future. Furthermore, I wish to honor the memory of my predecessor and the founder of the All People's Party, APP, the late Ignatius Kotongo Shwameni. May he so rest in peace. As per our party manifesto themed, narrowing the gap between the rich and the poor, the All People's Party, APP, prioritizes better education, improved health facilities, provision of potable water and food security, revival of our Green Scheme projects, and strengthening the capacity of the Anti-Corruption Commission, among other urgent priorities. As a nation, we must adopt policies that promote self-sustainability and domestic food security. A country that heavily relies on food imports cannot claim to be truly self-reliant and independent. This is the time to ensure a more inclusive, fair, and equitable economy, one that benefits all citizens. Only the equitable distribution of our resources can effectively address poverty in this country. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, 35 years after independence, we must do more to build a future of shared prosperity. We must create jobs and improve the living conditions of all Namibians. Tangible actions is needed to address the housing crisis, especially in regions such as Erongo, Walvis Bay, and Ausenker, Noord-Oever, grape farm in the Karas region. I propose that the allocation of $2,697,817,000 Namibian dollars to vote 17 for Ministry of Urban and Rural Development be reasonably increased. This would allow us to better serve historically deprived rural and urban areas, especially in regions that continue to be underrepresented in the development opportunities. unjust for the most deprived regions, based on current data, to receive the least allocation. This is inequitable and is echoes a colonial mindset that must be addressed by the current governing authority. It is commendable that this bill prioritizes economic development through investment in infrastructure, housing, informal settlement, upgrading education, water, power generation, and health facilities. The inclusion of youth empowerment under capital expenditure is also a positive step, especially the allocation of 12,800,000,000 Namibian dollars toward capital investment for potential economic growth. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I must emphasize that corruption in the allocation of tenders severely undermines our efforts to fight unemployment and build trust. I align myself with the powerful words of Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, during her inauguration on the 21st of March 2025, when she stated, and I quote, "Corruption is threatened," end of quote. I therefore propose that the allocation to Vote 30 for Anti-Corruption Commission be reasonably increased for the following reasons. The Commission suffers from insufficient staffing. It has a limited regional presence and requires expansion. Specialized training is needed to increase public engagement and address the evolving nature of corruption. Resources are inadequate to support operations across 14 regions and a population of over 3 million. The budget allocation of 473,300,000 Namibian dollars for child welfare and social protection programs must prioritize the most vulnerable in our society. All we had hoped that the social grant for the elder will be increased to 3,000, as was wished by our late President Hage Geingob, and may so rest in peace. We are content with the current provisions under the circumstances. Government must urgently close the infrastructure gap in the education sector, particularly in rural areas and low-income communities. There is a need to expand primary health care services, clinics, and referral hospitals, and to recruit more medical personnel. Adequate resources must also be allocated for the acquisition of pharmaceuticals and medical equipment in previously underserved regions, such as the Kavango East region, Kunene, Ohangwena, and Zambezi region. I am pleased to note that total allocation for 450 million Namibian dollars to the Vote of Sports, broken down as follows. 200 million Namibian dollars for the construction of Category 2 stadium nationwide. 200 million Namibian dollars for basic sports infrastructure, and 50 million Namibian dollars for sports leagues. I urge the responsible ministry to ensure that these stadiums are properly maintained and that income-generating activities are developed to keep them self-sustainable and in good condition. With the blessings of good rainfall this year, we must revive our food schemes and green schemes programs. Let us return to full agricultural production and processing to reduce dependence on food imports through the revival of green scheme projects and encourages agro-processing initiatives through local manufacturing and local value additions. Sufficient funds must also be allocated to land acquisition to address the plight of generational farm workers.
Signals to these people.
Additionally, investment must be directed toward agriculture marketing in communal areas and improving processing and management capabilities within the agricultural sector. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Namibia can afford this. How? The fish in our oceans are God-given resources. We do not feed them. They grow and multiply naturally, yet we continue to allocate fishing quotas to a selected few through political affiliation and favoritism. I propose that the fish quotas be allocated to regional authorities through dedicated trust funds. This will empower regions to fund their local social economic activities based on their specific needs and priorities. The budget must be directed toward addressing poverty and stimulating economic growth. Our goal should not be reduced, if not eradicate poverty in Namibia. The question of poverty is very broad. Poverty includes lack of access to public potable drinking water, better education, health care, as well as facilities. Better education does not only mean going to school every day or meeting the universal education goal, but the school should be within the reach and not walk a long distance. Not only that, but the learning and teaching environment should also be conducive. The teaching and learning should not take place under trees or in a temporary structure such as thatch roof with mud walls or tent. Not attending class in a classroom with a teaching and learning materials.
Thank you, honorable member. May you please take a seat? I want to advise the House what I did just now. In terms of Rule 85, sub 3, the presiding member has the discretion to extend the time limit allocated to any matter being considered by the House by not more than an additional 5 minutes. So I decided to invoke that provision in order to give the honorable member 5 minutes. But now I have only up to 5 minutes. I cannot extend the time beyond 5 minutes. Honorable member, you will still have an opportunity to contribute during the next stage of the budget. So thank you very much for your intervention. We now go to Honorable Mampanda.
We need your help, Speaker, on this matter. I wanted to raise it yesterday, but I couldn't get an opportunity to do so.
Can you? So, I can't hear you.
Yes, so we need your assistance, perhaps with the Prime Minister as well. You see, you do have minister or deputy minister, even members of parliament who keep referring to the Ministry of Finance and Social Grants Management. But the President published a proclamation that only says the Ministry of Finance. So can we get clarity, because this confusion is all over the country now. Is it the Ministry of Finance and Social Grants? But the proclamation is there that describe and explain to the country which ministry have been merged, what are the new names. There is no such a thing. Members of executive and all of us must at least know according to that. There is no such thing as a Ministry of Finance and Social Grants Management. It's just a Ministry of Finance. If I'm wrong, maybe you could also... So let's clarify that. Honorable Matundu also mentioned it yesterday. The Honorable Member also mentioned it. So if we just clarify, not only for ourselves, but also for the country. Speaker, thank you.
Very good, thank you. I'll do that at the end. Now I call upon Honorable Swartboy to take the floor and make his contribution.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Sara Nanjira Kugungelwa Madila, for giving me the floor, and congratulations on putting on your gown. You look fantastic. Honorable members, approximately 41% of Namibians are affected by a severe hunger crisis, and over 1 million citizens reside in informal settlements. Another 34.4%, according to state agency statistics, are unemployed, with youth unemployment at a staggering 4.2%. Under these conditions, the Honorable Erika Shafuta tables the annual appropriation bill under the theme Beyond 35 for a Prosperous Future. This bill, when critically assessed, shatters the expectant, decapitates the hopeful, and dismays the supporter. Immediately, one must ask, after 35 years, what would be prosperous from this budget, even at 100% implementation rate in our country, when we remain so deeply engulfed by social ills that continue to undermine economic performance and development? What would, after this year, at the end of this financial year, what would be prosperous about our nation if the motor forces of society remain an exploited underclass, stripped of access to fundamental means of production? What is prosperous when the educated are unemployed and when the unemployed can't be educated? As I highlight these national questions discursively, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members, I must say that as we're growing up at the Windhoek College of Education as teacher trainees, moving to the University of Namibia some time later, where student and youth activism defined our upbringing, we never anticipated that our society will be weakened, hungry, and downtrodden, as is the case today. And so, Honourable Speaker, I come from that student and youth movement, and I'm delighted that many of my colleagues here today with me, including Everlastus Metarere Dakaga Ronda, President of SWANU, my brother here, you are not yet President, as well as such other individuals as the Right Honourable Prime Minister Chitunga Elijah Gurare, who now constitute an important position, hopefully with the purpose of making change. I trust that the collective of this generation of young men and women, here conglomerated, will work together to transform the lives of the Namibian people, although the blueprint that people like Dr. Gurare must work from is an AI-generated blueprint. Roberto Mangabeira Unga reminds us in his book, The Self-Awakened, and refers to the philosophical strand that he states as democratic perfectionism. He writes, and I quote, "A first hallmark of democratic perfectionism is the belief that a free society has an institutional formula that, once discovered, needs to be adjusted only in rare moments of national and world crisis, and even then, only to adapt its enduring truths to changing circumstances." Honourable Speaker, this institutional dogmatism, denying the truth that the promises of democracy can be kept only by a ceaseless experimental renewal of their institutional vehicles, amounts to a species of idolatry. It nails our interests as society, our ideals as people, and the collective self-understandings to the cross of contingent and time-bound institutions. Honourable Speaker, therefore, this budget that has been tabled by the Honourable Shafuta aligns perfectly with the principle of the philosophical strand of democratic perfectionism. This budget, and all other budgets that have been brought to this House, is filled with dogmatism, copy and paste strategy and tactics, and only the increment of alcohol and other types of syntax without fundamental reshaping of the priorities of state funding. In fact, when you look at the statement as I did and as I searched for specific vocabulary in the budget statement, I found that words such as transformation, developmental state, socio-economic transformation are words and concepts aptly missing. This therefore shows that in the face of generational poverty and structural inequality, this bill chooses a bureaucratic repetition over bold reconfiguration of our state. Namibia, Honorable Speaker, does not need a more managed decline. It needs courageous renewal, anchored in justice, restoring dignity of our people, and the radical rethinking of power and resource allocation to society. Again, according to Unga, and I quote, extreme and rigid inequalities are to be feared more than any rigid standard of equality is to be desired. Why? Because such rigid inequalities amount to an entrapment of the individual and, by extension, the entrapment of the totality of society. What does it do? It defeats the major aims of the democratic and experimentalist freedom cause of justice and economic freedom. Honorable Speaker, these inequalities in Namibia remain firmly intact because the budget is unable to penetrate the depths of structural inequality and dismantle the problems that our people face through deliberate programs of action. Our focus is on rhetoric, and 35 years have taught us that we keep on doing the same, keep on saying the same, without jobs being created, with industry remaining at an 11% of 1984 standards, and innovation aptly missing in our society.
Research nowhere to be found.
Yet, every year our response is the same. Challenges confront us in education, let's increase the budget. Today we have a budget allocation of 24 billion to education, the largest share of the national budget. Yet this does not guarantee equitable access or quality of education. There should therefore be a fundamental look and a systematic transformation so that we do not over-expect from education what it can never produce. Honorable Speaker, as you have seen, I have turned a number of pages. I go to electricity and suggest that the ongoing liberalization of the energy sector has emboldened price hikes that place essential services beyond the reach of the poor. In 2024, the Electricity Control Board implemented an 8% tariff increase. These hikes disproportionately hurt the poor, the unemployed, the pensioner, and the single parent. This budget celebrates independent power producers, but the question is, where is the socialized solar power informal settlement system? Where is the budget line for community energy cooperatives so that the people themselves could create jobs through the renewable energy sector? Where is it that communities can be socialized through cooperatives, through neighborhood systems, to get access to power generation through solar systems? Honorable Speaker, I go to trade and development. Likewise, this bill fails miserably on the industrialization front. Namibia's post-colonial economy remains an extractive and externally dependent economy. Despite a national unemployment crisis and the collapse of local manufacturing, this budget fails to allocate even 1% of the national budget toward industrial development. In fact, a total of 522 million is allocated to both mines, energy, and industry. Where exactly can state-led industrialization begin to be implemented to create much-needed jobs? We continue to export raw materials and resent after the rhetoric has been spoken from the actual implementation of industries that can create jobs and circulate our money within the economy of this country. Honorable Speaker, I move to agriculture and land reform and quickly add that in terms of the ancestral land report, it is stated by research of government economists that 235 billion Namibian dollars has been lost to the occupiers by the communities that are victims of the genocide. Look at that amount of loss on the question of land, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, and look at the budget for agriculture, land reform, water, and many other things. Only a 2% is given, or 2 billion is given to land reform and agriculture. This does not even make up 10% of what is required from the Comprehensive African Agriculture Initiative, which Namibia is a signatory of, and 10% of a $109 billion budget would have at least been a $10.9 billion that would have to be allocated to the agricultural and land reform sector to make impact. Honourable Speaker, I rush as I'm cutting many of the important pages and quickly run to the following. Reality is that this budget does not address the fundamental question of what a transformational budget should look like. If we just look at the following, economists all over the world are at item that in order to get your country to work, you need at least 25 to 35% of your annual budget to go to infrastructure development and generally what they call to the development budget. Our development budget is at 12 billion, while our debt repayment is at 13.7 billion, and yet our education is at 24 billion. This government, I hoped, was going to escalate our development budget allocation this year to at least 25 billion at minimum, so that we can create the jobs. And by the way, a total of 250,000 AI-generated statistical jobs were to be created by the Southwest Africa People's Organization in terms of their campaign promises. That having been said, we now understand that a total of 450 million United States dollars will be loaned to work on green hydrogen, which was meant to be a private sector investment turned into a state-led and state-funded project, as well as triple Ps and youth development. This amount, again, will push up the debt to GDP ratio, placing further enormous strain on loan repayments that already stands at 13.7 billion, far higher than the development budget. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, what a gamble. I want to put a needle in the balloon of celebration of NAMRA under the Ministry of Finance. NAMRA, the tax revenue agency, is being celebrated, and I commend my brother Sam Shivude for doing an important job. They are celebrated as having collected 88 billion Namibian dollars of taxes this year. They have exceeded that amount by about 3 or so billion from the projected 85 billion that they would have originally collected from society in this financial year. The question is, Honorable Shafuta, at what expense is this tax collected? I amplify my question. Many farmers that I personally know are quitting farming. Many businesses are closing. NAMRA in last year's drought would even consider state subsidy as income and tax the state subsidy. NAMRA now considers that when a farmer, Honourable Speaker, drives from his farm or from Windhoek to where he farms, that journey of 500-600 kilometers under NAMRA's rules is considered a leisure trip. You can only claim trips within your farm. If you build a house as a farmer, you are doing it for leisure. If you build houses for the workers, that is something that you can claim taxes for. The challenge is this. Yes, I see. The cow that is being milked is dry, dying, sick, incapacitated, and NAMRA celebrates that victory of the death and the destruction of the Namibian cow. We don't support this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable. You could have ended on a more positive note. Now, Honourable members, I was flexible with the APP member because he is one and they only have 10 minutes. For all the members who have more than one member, the time that I add to you would be subtracted from your party. So it means now that the time available to all the old members who have more than one member is reduced by whatever is used up by the other member. So the next one, colleagues, who is the next person? The next person is Honorable Guab of UDF. Guab.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of the August House. Honorable Speaker, thank you for granting me this opportunity to address the August House and give my contribution also to the appropriation bill, B6 of 2025, which is under discussion. Let me also congratulate all political parties who have successfully been represented in the 8th National Assembly. I am also obliged to give my thanks and appreciation to my party members, UDF members, supporters, and sympathizers of UDF party to represent Namibia in the 8th National Assembly. I will also thank the Almighty, always good Lord, for opportunities availed to me all over my life to serve Namibia in following capacities as local authorities accounting officer, regional councillor, and lastly, serving the Kunene Regional Council as a chairperson of Kunene Regional Council. The Almighty also granted me opportunity during 2010 to 2015 to serve at the Parliament National Council. Also having, during that time, a difficult task of chairing the Public Accounts and Economic Committee, because the majority of members on that committee was the members of majority party. Yeah. Now, the Almighty has also given me that opportunity to represent Namibians at the platform of 8th National Council. I am thanking for Almighty God for giving me all these opportunities. Honorable Speaker, I involved myself with age of 14 years in the politics while I was schooling in Arandes. And I was not in the structures of a political party. My task was, I was inspired by leaders like Honorable Kapere, Guab, Dr. Justus Karoe, Honorable Alpheus Naruse, and my task was just to push the empty drums, to erect a stage for the speakers. And I have ended up today, I am at my exit point. And I am serving now as a member of parliament in Namibia. From there, I moved to former Damaraland, and I was an activist in Damaraland. I was expelled from schools from time to time until I have got opportunity only during 1988 to complete my standard 8 with age of 24 years in a classroom. But I never surrendered. After independence, I tried my level best to reach tertiary levels of qualifications. Honorable Speaker, I will not overemphasize. If someone is from the regional councils, I served 3 terms at the regional level. As he did, was it honorable from the majority party, Honorable John Leando. I said constituency development bill, fund bill. The constituency development bill, if enacted, is a vehicle to address poverty and rural development. It's a tool to close the gap of inequality of wealth in our country. Therefore, as a legislature, we are obliged and we are forced to enact a particular bill to save our people, majority of them, the rural communities. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, national death, I was starting our national budget. And national debt stands at around 66%, which is worrisome, as it includes increased interest payments, reduced economic growth, and potential future economic instability. And it reduces also savings and income. Government needs to use best strategies to pay down the debt, like reducing spending, prioritizing spending, identifying non-essential areas where spending can be cut. The government must consider a debt to GDP ratio, gross domestic product to manageable levels. So I think the government is having its own strategies, but also let us try to apply these strategies. Increase on import tariffs on Namibia and African countries at large by U.S. administration. We heard the report of the Honorable Minister yesterday. My take on the increase of import tariffs on Namibia and African countries by U.S. The African countries must accelerate. The African Continental Free Trade Areas, which is the world's largest free trade area, uniting 55 African Union member states to create a single market for goods and services, aiming to boost intra-African trade and economic integration. Let us be like an eagle. Eagles are flying against the wind, not following the wind in these difficult times. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, deficit on our national budget. Deficit budget occurs when government spends more money than it collects in revenue. The deficit can be used to stimulate the economy during the recessions. Meanwhile, excessive or prolonged deficits can lead to economic instability, increased interest rates, and poor economic growth. Government must apply also following strategies on that to avoid deficit budget. Tax reforms, increased tax collections, improved efficient incentive tax payments, and introducing good fiscal policies. Honorable members, honorable Speaker, honorable members, on my conclusion, I will follow what Honorable Professor Amupanda said yesterday. He said in his speech, we know each other, and he was mentioning the names of those from the majority party as well as Honorable Benanis and so on. It's a good thing that we know each other. It will ease our working relationship. We are just using a different vehicles called politics, but the ideology, political ideologies. But the aim of our population to bring us here is one common goal to save Namibian population. I thank you and I submit.
Concluded on an important note. Thank you very much, Honorable. Now the next speaker is Honorable Gaudentia Krone. It is also a maiden speech.
Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, distinguished honorable members of this august House and the Namibian nation. My name is Gaudentia Krone. I grew up in a very small village called Chase, 80 kilometers from Keetmanshoop. I started my school career there. I later relocated to Keetmanshoop and coming from the dusty streets of Keetmanshoop to serve the Namibian nation. It is with great humility and a sense of deep responsibility that I stand before you today to deliver my maiden speech. I'm honored to have been entrusted with this opportunity to serve the Namibian nation as a Member of Parliament and a Deputy Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy. First of all, allow me to express my profound appreciation to the President of the Republic of Namibia, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for noticing and recognizing my potential and appointing me as the Deputy Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy. I am deeply grateful for the confidence you have placed in me, and I assure Her Excellency, my colleagues in government, and the Namibian nation that I will dedicate myself to the task with commitment, integrity, and diligence. Today marks the beginning of a journey, one that embarked on with a commitment to serve about self-accountability to those who place their trust in me, an unrelenting pursuit of progress of all Namibians. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, a Pan-Africanist, to the core, a visionary, a high achiever, and an exceptional leader, once said, and I quote, "Countrymen and women, the task ahead is great indeed, and heavy is the responsibility, and yet it is a noble and glorious challenge. A challenge which calls for the courage to dream, the courage to believe, the courage to dare, the courage to do, the courage to envision, the courage to fight, the courage to work, the courage to achieve. To achieve is the highest excellencies and the fullest greatness," unquote. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, we are privileged to serve at a time of both great challenges and immense opportunities. Our nation's economy, like many others, has faced headwinds in recent years. The impact of global economic shifts, coupled with internal structural challenges, necessitates bold and decisive action. I acknowledge the government's unwavering dedication to fostering social economic growth and development in the country and pledge my support in working with other stakeholders in achieving the set developmental initiatives. As a Deputy Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, I recognize the critical role our sector plays in driving Namibia's social and economic growth, creating jobs, securing Namibia's energy future. The 2025-2026 budget statement outlines key priorities for our nation, and I'm committed to ensuring that our industries, mining sector, and energy policies align with sustainable development goals. The Minister of Finance has projected a GDP growth of 4.5% in 2025 and 4.7% in 2026. Therefore, we remain positive and resolute in sharing experiences and learning from best practices that would propel Namibia forward. Namibia is blessed with vast mineral resources and an emerging energy sector that holds great promises. However, it is not enough to simply extract these resources. We must ensure that they contribute meaningfully to national development. Our vision must be directed to creating a sustainable economy that will counter national and international challenges such as climate change, food security, gender equity, persisting poverty and inequality, geopolitical tensions, and human rights violations. As a member of this August House and Deputy Minister, I shall work closely with stakeholders to promote responsible mining practices that benefit both investors and local communities, support value addition and local beneficiation to maximize economic benefits, strengthen Namibia's energy sector by advancing renewable energy initiatives, ensuring energy security and making electricity more accessible and affordable for all. By doing so, we can contribute to national initiatives that aim at creating more jobs, empowering local businesses, and reducing our dependence on imports. Industrial growth is a key driver of economic resilience. We must foster an environment where Namibian businesses can thrive. That means investing in local manufacturing and processing industries, enhancing support for small and medium enterprises, ensuring policies that attract both domestic and foreign investment in our industries. Industrial growth requires everyday essentials that drive economies and fuels regional trade. Namibia's transformation from independence to this very day was possible through strategy investment policies that support growth. Namibia's industrialization efforts are influenced by the broader global economic landscape, and therefore our space in international and regional political economy should be guided by agreements and protocols such as the African Continental Free Trade Area agreements, which was signed in 2018 and ratified in February 2019. Subsequently, on 21st November 2022, Namibia officially launched Namibian National Strategy and Implementation Plan for the agreement establishing the African Continental Free Trade Area for the period 2022 up to 2027, aiming to enhance domestic production capacities and competitiveness. However, challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, skilled labor shortages, and competition from more industrialized nations must be addressed to fully realize the benefits of African Continental Free Trade Area. Strategic investments in infrastructure, capacity building, and policy reforms are essential for Namibia to leverage African Continental Free Trade Area effectively and achieve its industrialization goals. Honourable members, having taken note of that, the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy is tasked with enhancing sustainable social and economic development by creating an enabling and conducive environment for the benefit of all citizens. This will be carried out through creating enabling policies, legislation, and strategies to inter alia. Ease of doing business, creating of industries, support of micro, small, and medium enterprises, expansion and development of export markets and products. Furthermore, with the guidance of my Minister, Honourable Natankwe Ifete, the Ministry intends to further enhance, promote, and facilitate industrialization in the country in terms of varied economic activities, manufacturing and value addition by providing industrial infrastructure for economic activities in different regions. In its working mandate, the Ministry further aims to assist micro, small, and medium enterprises by procuring them productive equipment to boost their capacity, improve the quality of their products and competitiveness, create employment, and contribute to the growth of the national gross domestic product. This will subsequently enhance productivity and competitiveness in both local and international markets of selected middle-level existing enterprises. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, I look forward to engaging government, the private sector, and international partners to drive Namibia's industrialization agenda forward. Honourable Speaker, as representatives of Namibia in this August House, it is our duty to lead by example. The people of Namibia expect transparency, accountability, and ethical leadership. I am committed to upholding these values in my assigned portfolio and beyond. As I stand before you today, I am filled with hope for a Namibia that is prosperous, inclusive, and just. A Namibia where every citizen has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Let us work together across political divides, beyond personal ambitions, and with a shared commitment to national progress. Our actions today will define the legacy we leave for future generations. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I'm ready to serve. I'm here to listen, to learn, and to contribute meaningfully to the advancement of our great nation. I therefore pledge my full support to the 2025-2026 appropriation bill. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. We now have only a few minutes before adjournment time, and that would not be enough for an intervention, a full intervention. So I would like to propose that first I respond to the query that was made with regards to the correct names of public institutions. The correct names are as reflected in the proclamation that was gazetted. That is one. Secondly, we are reminded of the tragedy that we have suffered as a country. I'm sure that there may have been many others that may not have come to the attention of all of us, but the nation became aware of the tragedy in Yusakos, I believe it is, where multiple members of the same family died in a gruesome violence perpetrated by their own family member. But then we also learned about a number of family members that also perished in a natural hazard in Kavango East. And it is proposed that we rise and observe a moment of silence in honor of the departed compatriots. May their souls rest in peace. Thank you. We now take our seats. And that brings us to the conclusion of the program for today. We only have 1 minute to strike. Is it 1 minute? 1 minute. So, Right Honorable Prime Minister, can you adjourn the House until tomorrow?
Okay, you see, I have many teachers. Thank you very much, Comrade Deputy. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the House is stand adjourned until tomorrow, 14:30, 2:30. Yes. Sharp. Okay. Thank you.
So the House adjourns until tomorrow at 14 hours, 30 minutes.